Hello, guys. Thank you so much for tuning in. I'm going to be the host for today, and you guys are watching. Let's talk about it. And for today's episode, we're going to be talking about racism. And the main topic of this discussion is basically just two generation just talking about the experience with racism in America. And yeah, so I'm going to let her introduce herself, and then I'm going to introduce myself.
Hi everyone, I'm Sandy. I'm 16 and I make videos.
Hi, I am Anna. I am 22 years old, and I also make videos. I am a senior in college, and she is a junior in high school. So you can tell there's almost a 10 years difference in our age. I think I'm like 6 years older than you.
Yeah, pretty sure.
No, yeah, I'm 6 years older than her. So yeah, so we're just gonna basically just talk about our experience with racism and colorism, and just kind of like have an unfiltered, raw, real conversation about our experiences, and just kind of see like the similarities and differences within the different age gap. So without further ado, let's get right into it. Yeah. So the first question is gonna be to you is, when was the first time you ever experienced colorism?
Okay, so the first time I've experienced colorism was I was in class actually, like I think it was like middle school. Like I went to a predominantly mostly white school, so like it was just always like I was always around people of skin colors, white people. So it was always like I was like one of the few. I'm pretty sure there was like three of us, three black girls, or like fully black girls. All otherwise, most of the girls were always mixed or like white, had blonde, had long hair, curly, or light skin. And honestly, I feel like it's not really like a specific experience, but it's just like in general for me. There was like all these like just like you could just tell by just looking at everyone else around you that you can tell that because of the color of your skin, you were you I felt like I was less than everybody else because all the boys always wanted the light skinned girls or they dated the white girls, and all the black girls were always just like put in the corner because there was a few of us, and we're always like, we weren't like as popping as the other girls or whatever. But
Right.
yeah, I'm pretty sure that's like my first.
Okay. That's very interesting. That's really interesting. Mhm.
What was one of your first experience with colorism?
I think my first experience with colorism was in middle school. I just remember um being like darker, like one of the darker kids in my middle school, and like seeing like all the boys, they was attracted to like the light skinned girls, and they would all go for the light skinned girls, and like the dark skinned girls would be left aside and would be called African booty scratcher and all that other stuff. So I think in middle school, really early on in my life, was when I like realized that colorism. I mean, at the time I didn't know what it was, but like looking back now, that was like the first time I ever like really experienced like colorism, like being treated less than and undesirable because of the color of your skin tone was something that I had to go through at a really early age, and it sucks, but yeah, that was my first experience with colorism.
Honestly, that is such a typical thing with the society
Yeah,
and the way how the world is. It's just like it's always the darker girls or like the brown skinned girls always looked down on,
yeah,
and it's obvious, it shows, and I feel like a lot of people neglect the fact,
yeah,
but it's a
it's true.
fact and it's true.
Right.
There's such thing as light skin privilege.
Yeah, there really is. Yeah, yeah. All right, so we're gonna take it back a few, and we're gonna start really early. And I'm just gonna ask you. So you're my sister, so I know you, and you went to a predominantly white school, Patrides. Um, like how did you feel like being a minority, like being a black girl in a predominantly black school, a predominantly white school, excuse me.
Honestly, like it just felt out of place, you know? Like it took me so long to actually make friends,
Right.
because not just because of like me being like a shy person, because I've been a shy person even in middle school and I made friends quicker. But elementary school was just like, that school was just like, everyone was just like so used to having friends that were like white, even though we all like grew up together, we all been in the same schools from the beginning. But
Right.
it was just always like it's them, and then there's just the three black girls in the corner, like
Right.
I said before. It's just like I always felt out of place
Right.
and like I didn't belong, and like I had to change myself and try to be more like them for them to accept me.
Right. So you can say you felt kind of like an outcast, like you had to like basically you had to basically what's it called, code switch, like in order to fit in with that crowd of the non-black kids. You had to like code switch, you had to like act white, or quote unquote white, in order to feel comfortable within your environment, is what you're saying basically.
Yeah. To be honest, like I'm like, now that I look back at it, it's like wow, I can't like, I'm just like realizing like the little things that made me feel that type of way.
Right.
Yeah.
It's fair, it's fair. Okay.
Okay. So I ask you a question.
Yes.
So in middle school, we are African kids. You went to a predominantly Black American school, the opposite of me. uh, During like the Ebola time, the Ebola outbreak, and I know there was a whole lot of controversy during that time. So I just want to know, how is that affecting you as a kid?
um to be honest, it was a little traumatizing, especially like being middle school, like you know like I'm African. I came to America when I was like 2 years old, so like even though I came early and I'm able to assimilate within this culture, but like in like where I live, my environment is very much like I'm still living in Africa, in Liberia, because where I live, it's like kind of like a little Liberia, but just in America.
Yeah.
So I'm even though I'm in America, I'm still very heavily much endorsed within my culture and my heritage and all that good stuff. So it was hard and it was frustrating being the African kid and people saying things, calling you like African booty scratcher and making fun of you because you had like a slight accent. And it was very discouraging because I felt like I couldn't really be myself, because if I really was to be myself around those kids, I would get bullied just for being African. And people will make this stupid Ebola joke as if like Ebola was something to joke about. Like it's almost like the same thing that's happened right now, with
Corona.
coronavirus, and people are like, we're just being racist and towards like Asian people, and specifically towards like Chinese people, just because coronavirus started there, and like that was the same thing that was happening to me when I was younger. And once again, I didn't really understand racism when I was in middle school. I didn't really understand it, and not, but I knew what was happening to me was not right and it was not fair, that I was being judged and made fun of all because I was African and all because Ebola started in Africa. And I don't know, it wasn't fun. Middle school for me was kind of like a blur. Like there was just a lot that happened that I didn't really like, but it is what it is. So, yeah.
Right. That that was like I feel like people just don't learn. I don't know. People just like, they feel like that's okay to say
Yeah.
things like that. those are like normal behavior. That's the sad part.
Yeah, it is. It was really sad. But like, and it's so crazy because like it's so crazy when you're younger, like you don't really realize things are happening until you get older, and then you reflect back on it. And it's like, oh wow, that was really messed up, you know, like. So yeah. Okay, so I'm gonna ask you something now.
Okay.
So when you were in middle school, like who would you say that you looked up to?
Okay, so there was like in middle school there was like the people that had was the stars, the people that had like the mean platforms to do stuff on social media, and you know, that always on top. It's always I always looked up to these white kids, and I did this because I feel like there wasn't enough black role models. The few that there wasn't like as, you know, popular as the
Mhm.
ones that weren't.
Right.
So I always looked up to like people that were white, but I couldn't ever relate to them in a type of way because they don't have like they don't have the same experiences as me being a black girl. They don't have like the same obviously physical appearance as me. So it was really hard to like look up to these people, but I felt I had no choice.
Mm.
And these were people that I'm like, yes, I have to look up to them because they're on top. Everybody else looks up to them. So I have to too. And you know, growing up, I wasn't really on social media because I was still young.
Right.
So, and this is middle school, and now like since middle school, I was on Musically, you know, and I see Baby Ariel, Lauren Gray, all these like
Right.
white musers, and I'm just like, yeah, I'm gonna follow them. And I went through a long phase, and I know you remember that.
Yeah, I do remember that actually.
Where I was just obsessed. You know, I was just like, oh yeah, I like Mark Thomas. Look at Jacob Sartorius. Like, wow, these like all these like white role models, and I remember just like just consuming myself with them
Right.
because like I to this day I still don't know why I did it so much, and I still don't understand why. Maybe that's a conversation for therapy, but um
But do you feel like just like to piggyback off of what you're saying to me, like I had two things. Did you feel like you compared yourself to like the white girls that you followed? Did you feel like you compare yourself like physically to them? And also, do you think the reason why like you look up to these girls because like there wasn't a lot of like black representation like during that time that was like closer to your age and also very popular in mainstream for you to look up to as role models?
I mean, physically, sometimes, yeah, I did compare myself to them. I wanted like the same hairstyles they had. I wanted to be able to go and dye my hair blonde or purple or blue. The way how they did, I wanted to have like this straight hair. And at this point in my life, like being black wasn't my goal. I didn't want to embrace myself as myself because I felt like me as a person, I can't embrace myself because look at the people that's on top. The people that's on top are the ones that get where they are because of their skin color
Right.
or because of who they are technically. But yeah, there wasn't a lot of people that were black on top, to be honest. If
Right.
you I especially in my time, because I know back then there was a few more, but in my time in my middle school years there wasn't. I only had the social media influencers. There was a few black girls that I watched, but I didn't consume myself with them. But even if I did watch them, they were like they were mostly light skinned or mixed or had these beautiful gorgeous long curls that's so perfectly shaped, and it's just like I just sat down and just always like started to compare myself to them and was like I wanted to have that kind of look, and if I can't have that look, then I'm going to try to make myself look like the ones that are on top.
Right.
But yeah, that was like I feel like that was like really one of my darkest points in my life
Right.
as a black girl, because I really did not love myself enough. I
Mm.
didn't love myself at all.
Right.
I didn't embrace my skin color and my hair texture. I didn't embrace myself,
Right.
and I always embraced them.
I know. I remember those times, and I was really trying my hardest to like tell you, because I feel like around that time I was also like entering high school, and I was like becoming a little bit more,
Mm-hmm.
like just more aware. And I was like, I noticed you was going through that struggle, because that was the same struggle that I went through when I was your age. So I was trying to do my like everything I can to like be like, why you always find all these? Remember, I used to be like, why you always find all these white kids? Like, you should find some black kids. And I used to always like try to like encourage you to like, to just like not compare yourself too much to these people, and to like, I don't know. I was just trying my hardest for you to not like fall into that rabbit hole of, you not being good enough because of your skin tone, because of your hair texture, because you don't fit I guess the standard of beauty that society has in America for, and then also the society, the standards of beauty that people have within the Black community. So it's two different standards of beauty that you have to try your hardest to live up to. And if you can't live up to any one of them, you just feel like you're less than. And I was trying my hardest to like make sure you don't fall down that rabbit hole. But honestly, I feel like your journey happened the way it was supposed to happen for a reason, because like look at you now.
Right.
So
Mm-hmm.
yeah.
Like before, I wouldn't even be comfortable having this type of
Right.
hairstyle on right now that I have now. I would want.
Yes, let's cheers to growth. Woo! We love to see it. All right.
Okay, so you as in high school, you're learning to become how more aware of yourself, like you just recently said, and you're learning who you are as a black woman. I remember like you used to have like not like I'm trying to rephrase that. I remember you just decided to just go natural.
Yeah.
You decided you were like, oh, I'm going to go natural. You and one of your best friends. So I'm just curious on what made you decide to do that.
Honestly, it was a lot of different things that played into that. One was like I was starting to consume like uh content that I was able to relate to. Like I was watching like, natural hair videos. I was watching people like I was watching Lovely T. I was watching Tila. I was watching like different, like a lot of like different kind of like black content on YouTube. I was like diving into that world, and I was like watching a lot of like hair videos, and just like watching content that I was able to like relate to, like really relate to. And I feel like that really helped me to kind of like just like be like, what the fuck? Like, how come like I never wore my natural hair out? How come I'm not taking care of my hair? Like, look at her hair. Like, she has the same texture as me, and she took care of her hair, and her hair grew that long. Like, I want my hair to be long too. Like, I can grow my hair out. And then also like I had the influence of my best friend, who was also going through her journey, and we just decided like, you know what? Let's just cut our hair together, and we both cut it. And I think that journey was essential within my growth, because it was the first step I took to embracing myself and accepting myself for who I am. So yeah.
That's cute. I love that. 'Cause I'm still like going through that phase where I'm gonna be like, yeah, forget it. I'm gonna take care of my hair. I'm getting ready for, I'm gonna cut my hair, go natural, enjoy myself. I'm
Right.
still like getting to that point, and I'm not there yet. I know that,
Problem.
but
Take
I
your
will be
time. It's a journey for a reason. Like everyone's journey is different, you know? Like there's no just take your time, just be genuine with yourself and be honest and open with yourself and everything is going to work out the way it's supposed to. Like don't try to look at other people and be like, "Oh, but like she loves herself like completely. How come I don't?" Like you don't know how long it took for her to get to where she is. So like don't be mad at yourself because you feel like you're not where you want to be yet. Like be proud of yourself for putting in the work and the effort to get there. So clap for yourself one more time, sis. Okay. Okay, so when you got to high school, like you know, quote unquote became more woke and kind of like more like embracing of yourself and like your blackness and your culture. And I just wanted to know like what was the turning point? Like what was it that allowed you to start that journey of self, you know, love?
because I was always like looking down on myself. Like I said before, elementary school, I was always felt like I was cornered. Like I was shy. I was quiet. I couldn't like speak my mind. I couldn't be myself. And I just at some point I just realized that I have to stop. Like
Right,
this is not hurting no one else but myself. And I'm
right,
just hurting myself by bringing myself down and hurting myself by cornering myself and not being me and not loving myself. I started like I started following more black women. I started getting into my culture more and I just started to embrace myself and realize that I am pretty, I am gorgeous, and I need to stop. I need to stop bringing myself down because this is me and I can't change that. And I'm not going to because I need to love myself and I need to be myself.
mm,
And if anybody doesn't like me for my skin color, the way who I am, the my culture, then forget you.
right.
Yeah,
That's somewhat.
period.
I love that. I love that a lot. That makes me really
Yeah.
happy. Okay.
I mean, I'm not perfect. I still have more things about myself that I need to work on.
Right.
But at least I'm not like how I used to be. At least I'm not like bottling up myself and putting myself in a corner
Right.
anymore. I
Right.
need to go ahead
That's all you can ask for, to be honest. That's all you can ask for.
and right. So, okay, I think this is one of my last topic. So, in college, did you ever encounter um a non-black person using like racial slurs and just racism, just like being
Yeah, I did. A lot. Because like for me, when I was going into college, it was 2016 and Trump just went into office. So like racial tension was really high at that time. I mean, it's still high now. Like it's I feel like things have not gotten better, but at that time I feel like it was really high because, you know, Trump was in the office. So the racist people they had someone the racist people felt like they could say and do anything because look at the president, like he's a fucking racist and he's proud of it, and if he can say it, like they can do whatever they want. So I remember being in lecture, and this was like right after Trump had won, and we had lecture. It was for my political study class, and we was in lecture, and like people was talking about the campaign. It was talking about the election, and was asking people how they felt. You know, because you know everybody was going through like different emotions. We weren't sure what was gonna happen, like what was he gonna do, like and all that stuff. And I remember this boy right in the back of me, he said the N word. And I was like so confused and shook, but not shook enough, obviously, because I'm like, this is not the first time I encounter a non black person saying the N word. And I turned around because I was just so like so disgusted and just like so over it. I turned around and I was like, what like I was like, say it louder. And he was like, I'm black. And I'm like, say it louder, say it louder. And he's like, I'm black. And I tell you, this kid is not black. Me and him were in class. We had the same class together. He is not black. He was white as fucking snow. And I kept saying, say it louder. And he just shut up and he didn't say anything. And I was like, so you did this for what? Like, what was the reason?
It's so crazy to me that once they get caught using racial slurs or doing something that's racist, then they want to claim that they're black.
Yeah.
When they're not, or they do
right.
not have.
And also, it was like, read the room. Like, read the room. Like, it was just so inappropriate and disgusting. And just, like, the fact that this person had the nerves to say that word in a room where it was a room filled with a bunch of different diversity of kids. And we were talking about racism and how we felt with this election and our emotions and the pain and they felt like this was a good time to to say the N-word as a joke, to be funny. And it's like it just shows you that people really don't care. Like, they don't really care. Like, it's like we always have to be the butt of the joke. Like, why is that? Like, I don't get it. It doesn't make any sense to me.
There's nothing funny about it. Nothing.
Yep.
It's honestly just disgusting.
So gross. But yeah, that was the first time I heard somebody say it in college. But I had heard it throughout my whole life. Non-black people say it. I heard a white person say it to a black person, and then I was like so confused. And then they were like, "Oh, he was raised in a hood, so he's black." And I'm just like, what? You would be surprised of how many black people allow non-black people to say the N-word in front of them. And it just turns me off. It's like, I'm just like sick to my stomach when I hear it. But yeah.
Honestly, like, there is a lot of black people that's like, that's okay with it. Yeah. And it's like, girl, you may be okay with it, but not all of us are. So right. Like, put your friend in their place if they're saying
Period. All right, but so last question for me also. Have you ever had an experience where you felt like you had to be the voice of the black community?
Like a few times, especially recently, because like with everything going on in the world, and this was not even before like the whole Black Lives Matter thing got like before like the movement got really popular and started blowing up. This was like around last year or like last year or 2 years ago. I don't remember.
Right.
Like I've encountered quite a few Karens and Chads. Yeah, this boy had said it in front of me, and I was just like woke. Like, I was shook. I was like, wait. Well, he didn't. He was on the verge of saying it, and he noticed that I was here, and then he was like, "Oh, I'm sorry." But when I had left, and I went to talk to the person who I was with. That was their friend, because the person that said it wasn't my friend. So I was like, you need to put your friend in their place, because that was not okay for them to be saying this. Mm-hmm. And then this person's like, no, it's okay. He was raised in a racist home. And that's when he was raised, his father was racist. His father don't really like black people. So like, he was raised to say it. His family always said it, so he started saying it. And I'm just like, so you think that's okay? So I had to come and step in, like, even though it's not my place to educate no one, and we shouldn't have to educate people, but I sat there and I had to explain to this person why it was wrong, as if they were like a kindergartner or like a little kid. And I'm just like, I feel like us as black people shouldn't have to be able to explain these. We shouldn't have to explain why it's wrong. It's just wrong. Simple like that. Know your history, learn about it, and use it, apply it to your life. Understand why it is. Why should we have to explain it to you? And like another encounter, which was this one actually kind of recent, and I know you know about it, but she was saying racial slurs. She was saying she was using racial slurs, and I know her personally, and I was like, you've never given me like any sign that you're racist. You haven't been passive aggressive towards me, but you using this slur and feeling it's okay is racist and it's offensive. Right. And this girl is like, I'm not racist. I'm around black people. My boyfriend's black. My baby's black. My this is black. And I'm like, it doesn't matter if you are around black people. You're not black. So right. You're not black. You can have a black fetus in you, but you're not black.
Right. It's so crazy. It's like, sorry, you go. I'm so sorry.
I'm sorry. But she started again another time, and then she came talking about, oh, like this something as little as edges, and she just got mad because I was like, oh, this is cultural appropriation. Like, even though there's a huge history about edges that I didn't even know about, even though it's something so little that I researched, and I did my research about it when she came and told me like, oh, blah, 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 blah. And I'm like, learn your history about it. I'm not going to teach you why it's offensive, because I am a black woman, and it's not my job to teach you on things that you should know and things that you already know. And I feel like that was a good, these two moments were like a big moment where I felt like the need to defend the black community and defend myself, because these things are wrong, and these girls feel like it's okay. These people, not girls, but these people feel like it's okay. Right. And I have to teach them.
Right. Yeah, that really sucks too, because it's like people like that, they want to be a part of the culture, but they don't want to understand. They don't want to take the time to learn, to educate, and to understand why we do the things we do, like the history behind certain things, like braids. It's such a big history behind braids and cornrows. Such a big history, like you said, behind something as little as edges. There's such a big history with like the things that we do culturally that they want to be a part of so much, but they refuse to take the time to educate themselves to learn about it. And it's like, and I see this a lot where like non-black girls who, you know, want to be down and call you sis and want to have like, you know, that black girl swag and all that stuff. But when it comes to like racial injustice within the black community, they're quiet. They don't speak on it. They don't talk on it. They don't care about it. They don't care about the movement. They don't care about it in the deeper level besides, you know, performance activism. That's all they do is performance activism. But truly, they don't care about it. They just want to put up a front so they can continue to steal and use our culture. And it's like, it is so disheartening, and so, it just makes me so angry and so mad. It's like, I was arguing with this girl on Twitter about, you know, about these white girls who get tans that are like 10 times their original shade. That is so cringe. It makes me uncomfortable to be next to somebody who's like darker than me because they went to the length to get darker than me. Even though they originally started out white as snow, deliberately took the length, took all the length that they could take. Matter of fact, they jump off the length just so they can be my shade. And you don't think that's cringe? Like, how do you justify that? It's just so much like you just can't justify. I'm sorry. It doesn't add up. It doesn't make sense.
It's like, embrace yourself, love yourself, use your
right. Like, girl, love your skin. Like, baby girl,
you gotta be black. You want to look black as black as possible, but you're not prepared. You're not ready. You don't want to struggle what black women and black people struggle. You're not there. You don't want to do that, but you love black culture so much. Going through, like you said, going through so many lengths just to look as close as black as possible.
And it's crazy. I'm so sorry for cutting you off because I'm so sorry for cutting you off, but there was this tweet that that I saw, and it was like, white girls alter themselves so much to look racially ambiguous to the point where people think that girls who are actually racially ambiguous are white. And I was like, wow, that is so true. Like, white girls go to the length to look racially ambiguous to the point where girls who are actually racially ambiguous are seen as white. And it's just like, that is kind of scary.
It honestly is. Just
like, that's scary.
Every time I seen like a white girl with like, or guy with like really dark tan, it just like it looks so weird.
It doesn't look good. Like, it doesn't look good.
Or even box braids. It's like,
right.
It's braids. It's not meant for your hair.
Right.
And then they always want to post about how their hair falling out. You wonder why.
Like, who told you to get that relaxer set? Or to put that braid in here? But yeah, it's like, I don't know, man. It's just, yeah. Like, the experience of a black girl in America, it's beyond anything that anybody else can understand. I feel like the only other person that can truly understand that is probably like a trans black woman, because I feel like they have it worse. But like, the experience of a black woman in America is like, wow. Like, I have went through so much, from colorism to microaggression to race, just blatantly racism. It's just like prejudice, stereotypes. Like, it's just like, I've been told that I was ghetto because I was like laughing and just like being loud and laughing with my friends. Things that anybody do when you're at a young age. You know, when you're with your friends, you laugh and you joke, and I was told that was ghetto because of that. It's just like, we can't just go through life and just do things that everybody else do, because when we do it, it's like, oh my god, they're so loud, they're so ghetto. But then when these white kids are like in McDonald's loud as hell, it's like, oh my god, look at them. They're just being kids.
Having fun, right?
Just having fun. And it's like, it just sucks. And it's so crazy. I'm so sorry. I keep rambling, and we have to like be off the Zoom call soon because it's only an hour, sadly. But I just wanted to say, actually, I totally forgot what I wanted to say, so you can go.
Since you mentioned like stereotypes, because that's something that is a huge thing within the black community. I was having a conversation the other day, and we were talking about how, like, if you were to see a black person, if you was to say gangs, you're related to a black person. And if you was to say mafia, you're probably related to
Italian,
yeah. An Italian. But if you were to, the difference between them is that if you were to think Italian, you would not think mafia. But if you were to think black, you'll think gangs, thugs, ratchet. That's like the big problem that I realized that yesterday when I was talking. I was like, wow, that's like gross. Like,
yeah,
wow, that like people really like put us in such this one category. Yeah. They see us as disgusting, ratchet, ghetto, loud.
Honestly, we need to have another discussion, focus on like just being the black woman in America, and like we need to like just dive into that and talk about that. I feel like that would be such an interesting topic to talk about, to be honest. Yeah.
Actually, I really love this series, so I'm so excited that she came with the idea to do it.
I'm excited too. But any last words before we wrap this up?
Just love yourself. If you're a black woman or man or trans woman or whatever, just love yourself. To be honest, just forget about what society puts you in. You do you, and you embrace your blackness and embrace your skin color, embrace everything about yourself, because at the end of the day, you're you, and you can't change that. Stop trying to change yourself for other people. Everybody have their own experience, and I would be so glad to hear anyone experience. Like, if you have a really good experience, please can you comment it down below, because I'm really curious.
Right. Comment down below any experience you had with racism or colorism or just microaggression or anything that you felt like was racially motivated. Also, I would just like to say, like, don't let anyone take away from your experience just because they haven't lived it. Like, be true to yourself and your experience and everything that made you who you are. Embrace yourself, love yourself. You're beautiful. Your skin is beautiful. Your hair is gorgeous. No matter if it's 3A, 3B, 3C, 3F, 3Z, 3W, 3Y. It does not matter what texture your hair is. It is beautiful. You know why? Because it's your hair. Okay? It's your hair. And it does not compare to anybody else's. So do not try to compare yourself to other people. I know it's hard. I know it's so easy to see somebody and be like, oh my God, but she's so beautiful. I want to look like her. But guess what? You look like you. Mm-hmm. And that's so much special, so much more beautiful than looking like somebody else. So keep popping, keep going off, and keep being who you are. Because you know what? You were bad beat. If you know, you know. Anyway, thank you so much for watching. Let's talk about it. This is the first episode to our 6-part series. 6-part series. And I'm so excited to be able to talk more and to have more conversations with more people. And obviously Sandi would definitely be back because, you know, she's my sister and she's like my only other friend. So but thank you guys so much for watching. I love you guys so much. This was really fun to do. Don't forget to comment, to like, whatever topic you want me to talk about. I can also try to incorporate it into the series. And just give me good feedback. And yeah, thank you so much for watching. Let's talk about it. Bye.